Wait, Syndicate as the first and we getting in? I'm very surprised. Let's go. No luck this time around.
Do you have the glitch again?
No. It's working for some reason.
Oh, nice. Alright. The second semi-final. Let's kick it off. So, quite a few Skellige Aristocrats in hand already for PepeSmile, but does have a Dame, does have a Old Pikeman, which can work together quite nicely. But going to have to worry about this Horson's Freak Show and the Witch Hunter Executioner combining with this Hysteria in hand for FireSnail. Has these tools which can spend to take out early engines from PepeSmile.
Yeah, okay, so FireSnail, PepeSmile 0-0, this is semi-final, and the bans are also on screen, also should be set. Let's go. If there is anything with, I don't know, muted mics, etc., don't hesitate to mention immediately, since we are casting with no delay, it makes things smoother to fix on the go. So, thinning a little bit.
Do you think this other Pikeman is threatening?
Yes, I feel everything is threatening enough to start jamming immediately. Like, there is a problem of Emissary being available, so just playing Hysteria and hoping to finish it off next turn is not that easy. Of course, we do see that there is no Emissary available in hand at the moment, but that's a different story whatsoever. But it's nice, look, all the thinners, all the dream of Nick R was to buff all the thinners, and here we see Hunting Pack, Casino Bouncers, Sewer Raiders. So we of course changed Casino Bouncers to be 5 for 5 instead of 4 for 4, but yeah, the thinners in hand for both players, so hopefully draws won't let them down.
Ested esa crisa.
So, Pikeman able to stick for now, but getting a little bit of pressure from that Witch Hunter Executioner. And the nice thing by leading with the bleed first is that even if the Executioner gets dealt with, then the Pikeman can still get finished off by that Hysteria. But
now Thirsty Dame is also a card that you'd want to deal with, but yeah, this is the enabler, so maybe you deal with that and see from there if more threats come in. There is a second Alba Pikeman theoretically available, but not in hand.
this is when I wish the Syndicate deck had Philippa, because stealing the Dame and then spending on the Executioner would be very fun. Locke is going to shut down the Executioner. It's worth noting that this is a Madam Mucky Serenity list that FireSnail is playing, but missed both the Madam and the Decree in this round 1. So, probably like to get those online, maybe get a bit of a push in the round 2, try to bleed out that ball. But to do so, you need to get the round control. Pella coming out early in the round 1 here, keeping this Executioner online. It's a spender, sure, but it doesn't have any other bounties to really get any additional value with here.
Yeah, it also removes Locke from the board, so that Servant is weaker, but at the moment you don't really have any engines or relevant cards to protect from being locked potentially. So yeah, gets the spender on the board. Can open Sesame and spread the bleeds. We do see Art Fein jumping out of the deck, so PepeSmile was playing bronzes mostly, maybe trying to see if FireSnail will be happy with thinning and leaving the rounds, but in the end commits the Aristocrat that triggers the thinning, which means no Artfane in a lone crown 3. Okay, FireSnail.
Okay, so ball near the top of the deck. Going to be the Fangs of the Empire taking a trip to the bottom.
No, this is plus 8 and Hunter taking a trip now. So, okay, the tie is... we wanted a tie. FireSnail says, I'm fine with it, you know? I'm happy. I have Azar, Javet, Candle, and Acherontia. Those are the 3 things that like, work together as a package pretty nicely. And finally, we get a tie! I don't care if that's not the one that we were talking about. We got a tie! I'm happy. The checklist is getting filled.
Great work to PepeSmile and FireSnail for already giving us a tie. Best way to start the series off here. Madam Mocky Serenity going to be found as well as the decree now for the Syndicate side. What are they missing? Missing the Heat Wave, and not going to be able to get that with decree. That's not going to be fun playing into the ball here, and can get this more else via the decree. On the other side, PepeSmile is still missing a few golds. Doesn't have Ku, Philippe, Cupbearer, nor Joachim. Roderick can help a little bit here. Ardfiend could maybe combo with the Emir to draw into one of these golds if you know what's on the top.
I feel like a liar saying that Artfiend will not be traveling to the last round. And here it is, on the board in all its beauty. Also, Usurper is not the scariest engine at the moment. Didn't have enough time to usurp all the power, so he's just in a general position at the moment. Yeah, I do agree with the FireSnail taking that, offering that tie with the initial setup of 4 cards, but now looking further into the draws, it's like he played Calvit or something. I don't know, Marquise, Madame Serenity, Shady Vendor, Royal Decree. What else do you need?
I guess the Heat Wave would have been nice, but
yeah,
you can't get everything if you don't play Calvit. Yeah, Adamaki gonna come up now. King of Beggars using up a lot of his charges already. Still sitting on the Azar Javed, so even if we see some poisons coming out here, Azar Javed will be able to give some protection.
Drinking can be hazardous to your health.
So a couple of units were played, missing out on some coins. FireSnail could have, of course, spent with the candle a little bit, but I guess decided to take the over profit. So this is Defender's music, and buffing them both to avoid the potential bleeding out is what we're seeing, or just in general.
Yeah.
Any interaction?
Yeah, there's no Mage Assassin in this list, so your Scarabs are in general a lot safer than in against other Aristocrat lists which do run that card. It's now going to be the Emir drawing into the Cupbearer. It is a Purify, can help get around the Scarabs, but yeah, going to require some poisons to deal with the other Scarabs. Joachim was a top deck. Doesn't really help you here when the only way to gain access to it is from the Roderick.
So, are you hoping to hit like Fangs of the Empire? Is it of any relevance? Yes, not. I was meaning like in the terms of having a better leader target potentially, but for PepeSmile decides the Scarab is good enough with all the statuses available on the board and helps to protect some of my stuff from potential freak show Morels. But the bigger Thirsty Dame is on the back row, so if Morels is coming in, he's coming after her anyway.
How about this one?
Should be not enough tax
Such a
to...
good stolen mutagens. Get a veil onto the poison.
This is how you do it in the city of Novigrad.
Such a good roll.
You can purify one. It was a plan to purify one and maybe poison the other one.
Kill the dog diddlers!
Or at least it was in the books, but becomes harder now.
I shall flog them into submission.
Oh, all the statuses that you can carry over. So good.
It pleases you. I'm delighted to hear it.
Well, look at this passive Laura Peaches.
I'm actually impressed.
Having all the statuses. Oh wait, where is it?
Yeah, it doesn't make a huge difference here for
Yeah.
PepeSmile. There's not many remaining cards which can target. But then maybe the Emir is now not able to seize back the Roderick. Yeah. PepeSmile's doing decently. Up by quite a bit, but we still are yet to see Acherontia. There's a very good Morels coming out of this Royal Decree as well. Only one Open Sesame in the graveyard granted, but it's very doable for FireSnail to get it back out here with these leader charges.
Never snip from the master's table. Never.
Okay, so she does get Purify. Very awkward. Very awkward with all the statuses. But yeah, that's why Scarabs I mentioned. Yeah, good luck getting through them under the candle. There we go. Morels has enough cash to spend. And yeah, the Acherontia, it's coming.
It only gets to have the tribute because we are playing against off the books leader.
Die by my sword.
And I
Front
think
row.
this MS3 is a little bit short here.
I have no time.
Oh well, it doesn't matter. There's a PepeSmile and forfeits it, but yeah, we got ourselves a tie. I am a happy caster. An awkward game in the end. I don't know, not what we might have expected from it. So this is the victory number 1. FireSnail gets the Syndicate win, and he had his shield wall banned. And I need to recheck.
Needs to win with Self Wound and the Renfrey Soldiers. Going to be on red coin now. Both of these remaining decks tend to prefer the red coin. So I guess the question is, Do you think you can get away with playing a self-wound on blue against PepeSmiles' lists? Aristocrats might have a better time here than they did in the game one.
Portals.
It's slightly different situation coin-wise, if I'm not mistaken. Usually we see, at least from my memory of what we were casting, it was usually self-wound on blue. Maybe as the deck that, oh, I'm losing with it, I need to get it through. Maybe that was like a forced matchup. But yeah, okay. Status Nilfgaard from blue, from Pepe against the self-wound. So should be having a decent time. Finds a few bronzes to start himself off with, but FireSnail has the Corsair ship combo as well.
Ah, a taste of Nordling?
So this is the pure Gwent round 1. Everyone is like playing their small combos of bronzes until one of the players starts to cheat and to lock another player's combo, which is unfair.
Yeah, luck is cheating. They should just get rid of that from the game. This cast is sponsored by r/Gwent.
It pleases you. I'm delighted
So
to
not to
hear.
go for the lock just yet, maximizing value by copying bleed with the Van Melham's Servant. Gonna be maxi here. Drawing into the K-Troll and Draco total is solid, but bottom 3 cards in Neomancy all get Immortal, hence Farblood. I think you're gonna shuffle here.
Fool me once, dead
Yeah,
on you.
probably.
No one gets to fool me twice.
He's up to something. We ought to be up to
But yeah, lock is very influential mechanic here, so keeping that one Murlehem Hunter is something that you probably want to do if possible, especially with the Dame Pikeman rolling faster than the Drakkar Demon Corsair. So, a very cheap round from both sides. So, Maxi brings... This Wildwood was brought to you from the depths of the deck by Maxi. Don't remember where this was. Aneromancy was at the bottom. I wonder if there are any plans to draw the Aneromancy, or should I replay the last winner takes all where Aneromancy was featured, but turned out to be an alright inclusion anyway. So there is the answer to the Masquerade Ball. You save the Heat Wave to be a toll punish, but you just send some bears to the Masquerade Ball. Adds spice to the party, I suppose. At the moment, only one player is having fun on the board, adding more units, or has more units added to their side of the board, but Skellige cannot go long without fighting, so Kyrtrolde is there, so clashes
Burn the homes, fell the trees, anything shiny,
potentially
plunder!
happening very soon.
Is it just Joachim Philippe here? It is. This probably just forces the heat wave. Because Philippe sticking on board means you're not sticking anything else as self-wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get D2 damage from that uncreated Raider.
Well, both Purification and Heatwave finding very good targets here in round 2. Can't complain when adding the neutral artifact answers slash toll point deniers into your deck. Massive value so far.
These I invade. These I
Oh.
sign a treaty with.
Which one?
Finally, some diversion. And here I was, ready to puke from all the boredom.
Worth noting, there is Squirrel in FireSnail's hand, so a coup de grace in this round could just fall prey to this Squirrel, getting it banished from the graveyard. Then again, I'm not really certain coup de grace is doing much in a round 3, in like a next round here anyways. Look, it's not bad. You could maybe put Spang in an Olgid and copy it, but it's still not the best. Leader charges from FireSnail, going to take out the Yoking, deny any potential coup here. Interesting that only decides to do that a turn later.
Yep, good point.
Why should I, an elf, a sage, converse with an ape?
What is this ridiculous law he's devised?
And I get really worried about how PepeSmile is playing here. Yes, this point gap is huge, and you have 2 pretty tall units, which is great. But just look at the difference in how wide these 2 boards are. And then Svarblood Tournament, Svarblood can do a very good job at closing this gap in a very small amount of time.
So what you are saying is that PepeSmile should have left the operatives on the other side of the board so that the balance would be less skewed, right? That's exactly the point you were making.
Might be twisting my words a little bit.
I'd never. So yeah, so far so good. But as it usually happens with the Svalbard, it might be deception for our eyes. We'll see how close it is. I know what Matol already has typed into the tweet chat. Waiting for the bear to hit the board.
I wonder what my snails would have captured this time.
So, yeah, the Canute doesn't, like, with no Sigvald or Olgid or Draco Turtle access, both the Canute and the location are significantly worse than they otherwise could be here for FireSnail due to all those misses. But it still, with 2 locks in hand, as soon as the Canute hits the board, you're basically always gonna lock that up with your Hunter. Here comes the totem, so this is signaling that Svarblood is now set up. This is the chance of PepeSmile to get out before a Blobchan hits the board.
Blob control to Major Matol. We're ready to go. Well, surely PepeSmile, while we watching this, does the math. Wait, was it PepeSmile against Gravesh, or who was that winner takes all that you were casting with Moshcraft, where we had a massive self-blob leading to some questionable outcome? I think it was PepeSmile.
I'm pretty sure it was Pepe, yeah. This is such a good play here. I said that Svarblood was the main way for FireSnail to come back in this, but using the Canutes to get rid of all the bear abominations, each bear you kill off, each fanatic, means that that's 1 less damage to the entire board. So still not out of the woods, and FireSnail has a much better deck quality for the round 3, if we're able to get there.
Okay. A lot of points. Still waiting. Oh, more points. Pepe wants all the units to get hit on his side of the board. Not that it matters, but
Eyes closed, mouth open.
Maybe Svalbard was not found whatsoever.
I'm not sure why take the point. I guess it's a bluff. But I don't see what a buff really does here. You could have just, you know, purified the Raider and had 2 damage.
Okay, we have 1 explosion. We have another one, but we need more, much more to close this gap because sadly for FireSnail, the Svolblod totem was kinda denied.
I think the issue is this Svalbard can now either just get locked, killed off by a Canute.
Just not good enough.
And if that
and
happens, that's just it.
it's not bringing you any well, a little bit closer, but not really, considering you also had to pink your own units. Well, they were dying to the explosion slowly, but yeah. Yoink. A lock. You have a couple of clashes here.
Bapanada.
That's just no bueno. Is it no bueno?
I think it's no bueno.
You can bring the Knut back for a little bit, but yeah. Like, okay, we start clashing. We have 7 power units, so not much you can cheat with.
Okay, bring the Svalbard back instead.
Okay.
But how do you... Oh, you look... Oh, you need to use this wind to get enough damage to spawn a bear for the Svalbard.
So slowly working. Not giving up is the most important one. The previous explosions were not really great. But it's getting closer. Now the explosion definitely is a positive outcome. But yeah.
Okay.
Nice try though from FireSnail, bringing it from the 60-point gap, more or less, to what, 10? Less than 10, yeah.
I wonder if that goes the other way, potentially, if the Svalbard was played as the second to last card instead. Avoiding a chance to lock or kill it with any of the Canutes, but that was just PepeSmile in the driver's seat the whole time that game. Aristocrats just pushing the self-win around, shutting down any chances they had to do anything, and managing to get this Y0. I think...
Yes, зрителей Gwent. So, yeah. Why would you steal Gwent from the viewers where you can just play 5 games? Why not? Thanks, Scoop. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, there is no delay, but it's also like a relatively tightly knit community, so we hope that stuff like that doesn't happen.
Bapanada.
And the cast is a lot nicer being able to interact with chat live, and it's also easier to fine-tune if there's any technical difficulties too.
Yeah, because if you're on delay, you're getting that information with the delay,
and look, these are some of the best players, and they generally are playing as if the opponent has drawn all their cards, like, for the most part. So it might sound a bit strange, but compared to other potential esports, there's less of an advantage to stream sniping anyways. It's still...
well,
don't do it.
It's still possible, yeah. We had some problems here and there throughout Gwent's history with like people streaming, but well, you have to make a decision. Okay, so Draug 2 on the board, and Selfwound is like, oh, what am I doing? There is a 5 power unit, I cannot answer that. Yesterday we've seen a 30-point invader being played.
I know
So-
it well.
Can you imagine how many Draug clicks happened during that game? Well, you can calculate, but
A lot.
it was scary, yeah.
I was almost expecting this Martyrdom to be saved to try to kill off this Drake Bondu if the Berserker being hit it again. But it's not quite going to be the case. And yeah, it's probably worth mentioning that the last matchup was quite bad for the self-wound against all the locks coming out from the Aristocrats. But now it's the opposite situation. Warriors have a very tough time into self-wound. All their interaction comes through direct damage, which self-wound can more or less just avoid by having cards like Sigvald and Olgerd and Draco Turtle just sitting happily on the board. They don't care if you hit them. They like you to hit them.
They,
Kind of masochistic.
yeah, they will probably even pay you to hit them if there was a microtransaction throughout the game.
So there's going to be a lot of pressure on this champion's charge to get that Bloodthirst 3 to destroy a unit unconditionally. Okay, it does have the condition of Bloodthirst 3, but I mean that it's not damage. It goes through the Sigvald, it goes through the Olgerd. Round control for Warriors also means that they can try to bleed out some of these threats. If you can't answer a threat directly, your next best option is to bleed it out in this game.
There is a squirrel as well. All that job done by the Draug potentially being just destroyed, but not the most amazing tempo. So let's see. Okay, the PepeSmile is aware of the danger and decides to avoid the disaster immediately. The graveyard is not very populated, but there are a couple of things, and PepeSmile also used the War of Clans already to avoid the bricks.
This is a bit rough for the self-wound. They're missing location, they're missing Svalbard, they're missing Canute, as well as the Aneromancy to find any of those cards. Also notably, Pella is still in deck, and there is the Jenge Threat lock available for PepeSmile here. So yeah, there's Olgerd, Draco Turtle, Sigvald in hand for FireSnail. But not much to actually follow up on those cards.
But she brooks no insult.
So, yeah, we were just talking about how this is a very bad matchup for Warriors typically, but it's, I think, actually looking decent to good for PepeSmile now.
Well, so far he played his carryover. Well, it's weird to call tier a carryover, but in that particular moment with the square Lumin, it might be considered one. Let's see what he decides to do next, and yeah. Jengefret is a human, there is no way to tutor it. Very nice to find a card when necessary. Peller is also a human, but stuck in the deck.
And now FireSnail can play the Maxi and then see how far all these important cards are.
Okay,
So the other Tiersuch, the other invader getting scrolled away. So second War of Clans would be quite not great for PepeSmile just yet. But instead it's going to be the Warlord playing for some more carryover, getting extra damage onto the raids. Currently at +3 damage.
Even the seagulls are like food for this wall blood, but feeling so safe at the moment. Like nothing can hurt us.
It's only 2 units left in deck for PepeSmile here. The rest is just a whole lot of raids.
Reasons for the feeble of heart!
Savagery, Destroyer Bear, Spawner Bear. That is the Circle of Life.
Sounds like they have to make a game mode in Gwent just around the bears.
What would they call it?
I don't know, something in the lines of nah, I can't take this anymore.
Damn, that game mode sounds like it would be barely balanced.
But will the barely balanced Smallblood is fit in that description as well, barely balanced by the combined efforts of the Balance Council. Yeah, it's barely balanced at the moment, to the degree that only 1 person out of 8 decided to take it.
And, oh, might be starting to regret that choice of soul that is stuck at the bottom of the deck here. And that is the downside of Self Wound. Like this variant, it just doesn't have that much consistency. If you don't find the Neuromancy nor play the Maxi in the round 1, you can be in a pretty rough spot. So now it's going to be interesting to see how deep PepeSmile decides to push. Are we going to see another Zweinull attempt?
Oh,
Another
look.
2-0?
Soulblood is there. The other components, starting from what, card 6, 7? So a bit too far still. Now Pepe's problem is not the greatest graveyard for himself, but you can activate it by Draug through one of the raiders away, making your Herald active as well. And okay, we see the leader, so I suppose you can play Herald here, or maybe you take a 5-card round. You have a big finisher. You don't really spawn too many units, as you mentioned. This is basically a no unit further down the road, but not really. Raids that I get in play nowadays damage and spawn, or damage and play basically, so it's not like you can just throw damage at your opponent. You also don't, as you mentioned before, damage Sigvalds and Draco Turtles, but no, never mind. Invader is out, so there is no risk taken. From PepeSmile, worst matchup possible, your opponent is not doing the self-wound things.
Yeah.
Almost at all.
This would be a 2-0 if Pepe decides to go for it.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
I don't know if they need to. They might just win the round 3 anyways, playing low unit, and then finishing off with the Herald into Invader and Leader as the last save.
I need to smoke.
And I believe they'll get all cards here, but they do go for the 2-0.
Yeah, I can imagine FireSnail at the moment going like, yes, amazing experience. You're losing the matchup that you had in the books by default. Yeah, nothing you can really do here with a deck like this.
I guess FireSnail going to be looking, trying to find some miraculous play which can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, but those jaws are wide open, almost shut. I don't know, whichever way. I think almost shut. There's not much wiggle room left. I'm tripping over my metaphors so badly right now.
Yeah, I was kinda afraid that the tilt might come in. FireSnail also mentioned yesterday that he wanted to forfeit at some point when the Aristocrats got through something for his previous opponent.
Yeah.
Gwent tournament is an experience. You have to experience different sides of it. One of them is one of the players kinda stopping playing and being tilted. Hope everything is alright and he will be ready for the next game. But
it's the absolute worst when you're in a series and then you lose the favored matchup. And then you're going to have to play that deck again in what very well may be a not nearly as favorable matchup. I don't think it's...
Yeah. It's hard to predict the Kirstenar matchups because it's not the deck played a lot in the tournament setting. And the first choice for FireSnail is the Nilfgaard. So you have control in form of the lock mostly here. But there is Vilgefortz and you can do some profiting. Maybe. On the other hand, there are so many siege engines that would get value in a longer round. So you kind of want to lock them as well, and then you are hit by Kimbolt, Queen Meave, Watchlink, and the siege itself is also a force capable of winning a round.
I like this cue from FireSnail deciding to not play the self-wound for a third time in a row. I think it's good to have a break from that list, especially after that last game, those draws. And we already see one of the Alba Armored Cavalries in hand. Rune Mage can try to high roll an answer for this Caraballista.
What do you mean high roll? Isn't it assassination guaranteed or cursed? Oh, not cursed, but coated weapon. There we go.
That is what we call a cluster curse. Thank you, Kungfu.
I just thought that one of those two options for 5 damage is basically what you are getting from Runestone. I guess I need to read that card slightly closer. Let's go and do that right now. Create and play a Bronze Nilfgaard card. If necessary, choose a 5 damage. Yeah, says exactly that.
Okay, I haven't touched Rune Mage in a while. Balance Council must have done some crazy things.
Do not look now, my lady.
Okay, so yeah, those are locks being spent on the first couple of siege engines, and you also were lucky enough to find an answer to it through the Rune Mage, to the first one. Okay, so Pepe saying I couldn't do it cheaply enough. Yeah, no. Okay. I thought that it would be like a slam. Oh, fine, you were not happy with my naked siege engines. I'll give you a siege as well to boot it.
Look, after you see the siege just land first, But there are some nice things about playing other siege engines before siege and then triggering the scenario. Namely, the chapter 2 of the siege, the bombardment, gets more value if you already had siege engines sitting on the board from before the start of the siege. But look, it's only the Carapace which ended up living here. We do see the reinforced ballista developing, but need to be a little bit careful here for PepeSmile because there's not that many siege engines in the list. In fact, there's only, I think, 3 more remaining right now. Both in hand and in the deck combined. So, siege needs to come up sooner rather than later if you want to have a chance to proc it. This looks like a...
Maxi with the
Nice.
Blightmakers at the bottom and Ramon and Wilgefortz somewhere in the middle of the pack. Like, what are you doing with the Maxi like this?
Your magic can't harm me. No magic.
I personally always hit shuffle. I'm not too happy with it. Shuffle.
Yeah. It could always be better, and I'm a betting man.
Yeah, on the other hand, you had Slave Driver, Nausicaa somewhere there. Depends on what do you expect from this round. Maybe it was a decent enough start.
Order will triumph. It must triumph.
Queen Meep is like, oh, it's the boost, all for me, thank you. And armors herself a little bit. Okay, so reinforced ballista slowly but surely removed one of the units available for trees. I don't think FireSnail is running out of those units though. And yeah, siege finally lands.
It's worth noting that PepeSmile doesn't have units that go super tall apart from that adder, but of course she has immunity. So the Gale of Rivia can struggle to find targets, which is a large reason why it comes out here for the Queen Meave, combining very nicely with that Nilfgaardian Knight. And yeah, here comes the siege. Going to be a very big bombardment here to finish, getting a lot of resupply value as well.
A pleasure to
So 8 units on the board at the moment. I think we should be with 5, but that's like a very lucky bombardment, I guess. Yeah, doesn't exactly work out. Short by 1 thing.
Yeah, and now the question is, if you're going to run Triss Meteor Shower, do you do it now? To avoid these siege engines coming up any more units? The answer is yes. So FireSnail able to push the envelope, get a 12-point lead right now. But that back row Triss does play right into the hands of this reinforced trebuchet.
This is exactly the experience I had when playing some meme decks, where people were like, how you win the round guaranteed? Play siege. At the moment doesn't really work out when opponents especially knows what type of deck you're playing. So yeah, the siege engines, the full siege, the machines surviving require even more investment here, and we actually see Kimball being played, right? That's his music. What do you even want to pull out? Just Heavy Swirl God. It's not even a good tempo or anything.
Not really. It gets ahead at least, which is something, but yeah. And Draug is not good as the very final card here. There's not many low power units apart from the Triss to try and take down. Actually, yeah, it doesn't give zeal, so it just won't be useful.
Pepe was greedy in that siege, and on him, as Lemon pointed out, you'd better off establishing the machines first, get value from them, and then siege though. So I'm not sure I'd agree with how the round goes. It looks like, oh yeah,
They'll
Like
pay
what
price
earlier
for
siege
blood.
does achieve? Maybe it wipes another unit for the trees. It does generate a couple more points, maybe from the 2 more points from battering ram.
FireSnail just wants to win on even.
Yeah, goes into, I guess, I'll leader as well mode. And, well, Draug is maybe not the card, but you have the leader to decide if there is anything. And Pepe's answer is no, there is nothing I'd play that gives me a chance. And to be fair, against the strength list, probably. If you can win the round, you'll always play your last card in situation like this. So, yeah. There we go. FireSnail taking the lead. Has, well, hopefully for himself, Blightmaker should have come, but no. He has a need for unit. For the Curse of Envy, posing even more problems, like Nilfgaard Knight on open board works nicely.
I'm an officer, I'm a gentleman.
Very well might be Nilf Knight into pass here.
No, nothing.
Yeah, it won't be it won't be difficult for PepeSmile to get ahead here. But we'll still have to be a card down. Only this round 3, and in a 5-card round, that's not much time for this Princess Ada to get established.
Yeah, so
like, even if you play her turn 1, you only get 4 turns to get boost onto her afterwards. And that's conflicting with trying to set up a Draug earlier on.
So it's so bad with the Blightmakers from FireSnail though. Like you'd prefer them round 1 for the tempo play. Yeah, rather it comes, but Pincer Maneuver is a broken leader. The problem with Blightmakers is of course, yeah, those Revenants coming from PFIs, coming from Pincer Maneuver, and Draug working with them.
You are here as a diversion, for my pleasure alone.
Wait. If Prophet locks the the Radovid Judgment, and then the Radovid Judgment gets shuffled into deck, does it still get unlocked since it's no longer in hand?
I'm pretty sure some tests were made, and I might have seen a clip on Reddit, but I don't remember the interactions.
Actually, I think the lock would just be removed as soon as it returns into deck. Oh, actually, no, maybe not. I have no clue. Anyways, Radovid Judgment is out here. It's safe. There's no locks in hand here for FireSnail. Only the Prophet, which is quite a bit different in terms of locking.
So yeah, there is the Princess Ada that you don't see too often, becoming more popular recently, but yeah, she's waiting for the cursed units to appear. One of those cursed units is of course Draug, but then he creates the Revenants, so she'll get a lot of value. A shame missing the botchling there, or like missing the botchling. Doesn't really sound correctly with the pincer maneuver leader. Well, there we go. +7 because Draug is a cursed unit. But anything you spawn qualifies as enters the battlefield.
Surprised we didn't see Prophet there instead of the Ramon. So I think at this point your game plan is just delay the Draug as long as possible. Okay, people in chat are saying that in the situation I brought up with the Radovid Judgment getting locked by Prophet, he would still remain locked in deck.
Yeah, I would recommend not take it as a reliable info when feels good man copy paste things, but in Matol with Rust, yeah. The original message.
I'll blindly trust Matol in chat.
Okay, so yeah, you see, Ada is already a 16. And those Revenants are becoming a big problem. Those Blight Makers are not feeling that great to play.
I've seen the foul beast and its retinue.
Profit value
You can try to win them all
of the charts.
For the king!
Obedience or the lash.
But yeah, the Blightmaker finishers is what we'll see here, so
Nothing to lose.
crisis avoided. Maybe with Nausicaa you don't really have sequencing problems.
Yeah.
No good wine will come from here. Not
You
even
do have a problem with the points though.
Yeah. And yeah, Pepe even missed some points in this round. Could have gotten quite a bit more value from the cursed units. Actually, the Baron ended up being worth less than the PFI, but it doesn't matter. It's a quite smooth win there for PepeSmile in the round 3.
Yeah, but
Well played.
GG's. The Ada is taking the game number 3 for PepeSmile, or game number 3 for him.